covers the Detroit Lions and Detroit Pistons for MLive.com, joins the fellas, and we appreciate the hell out of him for it. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Kory Woods. Kory, how are we doing?
Yo, what's good? And, just for your followers, I put on my regular glasses today. Everybody had a freaking aneurysm last time I had on my wire. How can he see inside? Jesus Christ, it's a tent. Good Lord.
Kory, I'm glad you cleared that up. I know we had also Jimmy Fallon wearing buffs. Buffalo.
Yeah, he had on buffs.
Yeah,
Buffalo. I ain't got that kind of money. Those are $4,000. Those are $4,000 plus he had on.
Yeah, that's the Cade Cunningham. The Cade Cunningham max contract buffs. But let me ask you, Kory. The Lions absolutely destroyed the Bears. What the hell do you make of it? I mean, it was a hell of a performance. I know we talked to you last week, kind of talking panic level, Johnny Moe, Calvin Shepard, and then you see that performance, and they're dominating on all three phases of the game. What's kind of your takeaway? Just you could start wherever, but your thoughts on just the blowout performance there, beating Ben Johnson.
Well, first off, it was expected. I mean, the Bears did not look really that impressive against their game on Monday night against the Vikings. So I was not really that shocked. You have to think about this. They didn't have a preseason together, this unit. I mean, there was a lot of communication issues that they said that they can clean up, and I think had they played together in the preseason, which Dan Campbell alluded to, that probably should have happened, you would have seen a lot of those communication errors cleaned up. You would have been able to see guys kind of know where everybody's supposed to be at and know things are how supposed to work out. So hopefully moving on down the line, not necessarily saying the Lions need to play the guys a whole half or anything like that, but, maybe a couple of drives to kind of work a few things out and, be able to get some tape on some things to kind of take back and tweak going into the season. So, but I mean, I wasn't shocked. I mean, this is a darn good offense. That's a pretty solid defense. And the Bears, I mean, they have a lot of holes still. So the performance, the Lions winning wasn't shocking to me. Even the blowout, I expected something around 30-14. I believe that was the score I gave. 52-21 was not on my bingo card. And I said this also, it's kind of blasphemous to say that, the score was not even as close as it was and they put up 52 points, but they could have easily put up 70. And it was just a total dominant performance. They put some good things on tape, but the Bears to me are just such a bad team. I'm still trying to kind of figure out how to grade it. But hey, the Lions did. I would say this though, the Lions did what a good team is supposed to do. They beat the hell out of a bad team. And if it was any closer than that, like I said, I had 30-14. If it would have been any closer than that, I would have been like, okay, might need to start, having some concerns here. But I mean, they beat up on bad teams. Smart, good teams do that.
Yeah, Kory, I'm right there with you. One thing I do want to ask, this seems like kind of the bigger storyline coming out of the game. Jeff and I talked about it a lot yesterday, was the pass rush again, which is something the last few years obviously has been a big conversation piece for this team. And obviously Marcus Davenport has the shoulder and ankle that they're still getting looked at. What are your thoughts on that? What do you see happening here with the Marcus Davenport situation? And obviously AQM is going to start getting more snaps. How do you see Brad and these guys kind of going about that? Say if Marcus Davenport is out for the next few weeks or a little longer term.
I'm not sure because I don't think it would be fair of me to kind of give a real read on it, because last time we talked to Dan Campbell, they're seeking a second opinion on it. So we have no idea what things look like right now. I mean, to even Marcus Davenport didn't. We talked to him after the game, and his shoulder was wrapped up and nice, and he said he didn't know the severity of it himself. He has to wait and see. So I think that, we should just, kind of pause. But I mean, if something does happen, like if he's out for a couple of games, I mean, they got some guys on the practice squad that can bring up and, fill that gap. But if we're talking about something being long-term, then, hey, maybe you have to go look out on the market, on the trade market, and see what kind of options you have. I mean, still got to bring somebody in from the practice squad, but, as you near the trade deadline and you see where teams are at, maybe some teams want to get something off the books, and then you see where the Lions are at, who knows? Maybe they make another trade. I mean, They did it last year when Aiden Hutchinson went down. They immediately contacted the Cleveland Browns to see about Zadarius Smith, and it still took a month to get that done because, pass rushers are a premium and teams don't want to give them up. So if it's a long-term injury, I could see a similar scenario where they go out and make a trade for a pass rusher. But if it's something where he's just down for a couple of weeks, they have some options on the practice squad that they can call up and, fill that void for the time being.
Now a word from our sponsor, Sleeper Fantasy. It's a fantasy sports plus real money gaming app focused on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become one of the fastest organically growing fantasy platforms in the world with over 6 million active users in 2023 and only continuing to grow. Sleeper Picks is a real money product that connects friends over picks. You could choose 2 to 8 of your favorite players, just like I did. For Lions, Ravens, or even across different sports. You can do it from pregame, live. It doesn't matter. Pick more or less in the predicted stats. And on Sleeper, you can receive up to 1,000x payouts. Share with your friends and get rewarded together. Use the code CT Sports and get a $100 deposit match up to $100. Check out Sleeper and shout out to them for sponsoring the video as always. Hey, Kory, just help me, please. Help me here. And Booner brought this up yesterday. From a Lions fans' perspective, right?
Mhm.
It's not Davenport's fault. I want to make that very clear. But because no one blames Davenport. He took the $4 million. He got offered to come back. He did nothing wrong. But from Brad Holmes' perspective, do you see why this is kind of confusing for fans? It's like, oh, they don't need an edge. They don't need an edge. We're fine. And then Davenport's hurt in week 2. And now it's like, well, they might have to make a trade. And you're not wrong, by the way. But do you see where that's like, what is going on? Because you could have gotten Zadarius without giving up assets. Like, what is going on with this whole thing? Because now we're going to get into the situation where actually Booner brought it up, where you get practice squad dudes for the defensive end 2 spot, and everyone's going to be like, what the hell? What's going on here?
I think the practice squad guys will 2 things. I think the practice squad guys will probably be in the rotational spot because if anybody I think is going to go ahead and take that number 2 spot next to Hutch, I think it's going to be Al-Qadim Muhammad. He's definitely earned his right to be able to take that spot if Davenport is down for a serious time. But having said that, I do understand the Zadarius concerns because when you see the deal that he signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, it was very incentive laden. But when you do a little bit of research and kind of look at I'm just kind of reading between the tea leaves of some of the things that he said. I am not so sure he would have taken the deal that he did if it were any other team but the Eagles. I believe that they really made a real pitch to bring him in. And who knows what went down between those meetings between him and the Lions, because, I mean, you got to think about it like this. If they were saving money by cutting him at the fraction that they did, who knows if he was going to come back to the Lions for the contract he took with them. So it all depends. It's kind of one of those things that is hard to get a read on. But I will say what a fair argument, a fair feeling for fans is that, yeah, maybe we don't know what happened with Zadarius Smith per se, but not prioritizing adding to your pass rush in general. Yes, you can definitely feel like that was a misstep by this team because, again, prior to this season, Davenport has only played 6 games over the past 2 seasons, and it's not getting on him because of his injury history, but it's just the reality at hand that, hey, yes, this guy is good when he plays, but can you count on him to play? So Zadarius may not have been the guy that they wanted at, when they were, trying to add to this pass rush, but there is a reasonable, it is reasonable to question why they didn't at least go look at somebody else because there were other options. There was a Drew Don was out there. There's a Jadeveon Clowney. He just signed with the Cowboys. So there were guys out there that they could have possibly at least brought in to a training camp or brought in to work out to add to their depth.
Yeah, Kory, just defensively as a whole, just want to kind of get your thoughts on that there. And I can ask kind of on this end, just a grade maybe for this defense versus the Chicago Bears compared from what you saw week 1 versus the Packers and with the Bears here, especially heading into this Ravens game. Obviously, it's such a big task with Lamar, Derrick Henry. And as well as too, honestly, Kory, just like your confidence level heading into the this Monday Night Football versus them defensively.
They still have some things they need to work out defensively, and again, I kind of attribute it to the same thing with the communication issues they had on offense. There was no preseason, so guys are a little bit rusty. Yeah, they did the joint practices, but you know, you can have you can joint practice. You can have as many huge speakers out there to simulate the noise and the environment, but you just cannot simulate real-time action. And I just think that's what you're seeing because again, last year, if you look at how they started last year, I know everybody looks at they finished 15-2, but that team started out rather rusty to begin the year. They really did not start hitting their stride until like after the Cowboys game. So I just think that's what we're seeing right now is a little bit of rust. I mean, yeah, Aiden Hutchinson came out and played out with his hair on fire last year. He's not going to he may be not playing the same way because he's coming off of a broken leg. I mean, this is the first time this guy he's done the joint practice, but this is his first game action since breaking that leg. So it's going to take him some time to get back to being the Aiden Hutchinson that people are used to. It's going to take some time for that whole defense to get used to each other. This is a new coordinator. This is they're playing at real speed now. So I will say Monday is going to be a heck of a test for them. If they're able to come out and play at least, let's say about 65, 70% as good as they did against the Bears, I would say fans should feel confident about them going into their next stretch of games because after that, you got Cleveland, you got Cincinnati, and I mean, they should be all right.
Yeah, Kory, what do you think about Taron Arnold? I know he got the groin injury against the Packers, but he played in the game against the Bears, and he just looked. There's positives that he shows, and then there's negatives. It seems like there's some inconsistency issues maybe with Taron Arnold. I don't know if it's related to the groin injury or not. Calvin Shepard always says, if you're hurt, don't play. But what have you kind of made from the second-year corner who everyone was praising, including Calvin Shepard, who said he has the CB1 capability? But what have you kind of made? It's not just him, obviously. DJ Reed's been struggling, but just those two corners to start the year.
Again, I just think it's timing. I think there's some things that he's got to go ahead and work out. I will say I was a little bit more concerned in that Packers game as opposed to the Bears game, because in that Packers game, I was even concerned with some of the safeties. I was talking with somebody about today. I thought the safeties were playing a little bit too far back, and that's how Jordan Love was able to carve them up in the middle. But Taron, I mean, it's been a tough sledding for him because, I mean, yeah, you can go ahead and give him the pass for the rookie year, but I mean, so far, I believe he's allowed, the most yards of a corner through 2 games. So that is something that they're definitely going to have to clean up. DJ Reed has not played the best as well. But again, I think when the Lions pass rush it looked better against the Bears, but when it gets to the point that they're all accustomed to, I think you'll start to see the corners play a little bit better. But just in general, I don't know what's going on with Taron. That is, but again, if he continues to get beat, Kelvin Shepard said a little bit more than come out the game if you're injured. If anybody read that whole quote, it was pretty much like, hey, everybody all has to earn a paycheck here, and there's not going to be any free rides. So you can read into that whatever you want to.
Yeah, hey Kory, that I heard that from Calvin, and I kind of like that out of the DC a little bit. Like, no matter who you are, you gotta play well to get a spot and to get snaps. Something I was interested to hear from you, Kory, is just opposite side of the ball, the trenches. Something that we've talked about a lot, actually. I think with you too, just how important the trenches are, especially offensively for this team, and obviously from the Packers game, the miscommunications and with the offensive line and the way they played. was drastically different compared to the Chicago Bears team. How did you feel about some of these guys, especially like Tate Ratledge, Christian Mahogany, and that middle, with Graham Glasgow as well? Did you feel more confident with what you saw on Sunday with them compared to the Packers, and then going into these next few weeks with some of these matchups?
Yeah, absolutely, because the communication was better, and the guys took ownership of that throughout the entire week. When you spoke with a Tate Ratledge, a Christian Mahogany, I didn't speak to Graham Glasgow. I know others did, but the general consensus was like, "Hey, this is stuff that we can clean up. This is really just communication issues." Because I mean, you don't have a Pro Bowl guard out there in Kevin Zeitler anymore. You don't have a generational center out there in Frank Ragnow. I mean, you get a lot of those guys have been playing together for the past few seasons. So now you're having a revamped offensive line with a new coordinator. So, I mean, yeah, the guys look good in the joint practices, but again, you cannot simulate real time. So I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be okay, but hey, they worked out some of the kinks. And I think another thing too is Dan said that he probably put a little bit too much on their plate going into Green Bay. So probably taking some of those things off and simplifying things, allowing them to play a little bit more freely and honing in on those communication errors, something that also Jared Goff took ownership of as well. That's what you saw. And also too, they played at home too. I mean, they didn't play in a hostile environment like Lambeau Field. They played at home. So I think the real test of what those communication errors, that's going to pop up again when they go to Baltimore, because they're going to be going into another hostile environment.
Well, we appreciate you, Kory, as always. Keep up the great work, my friend. You guys can follow Kory at Kory Woods. He does great work covering the Detroit Lions, and eventually he'll do both Detroit Pistons as well. Kory, we'll talk to you soon, my friend. Appreciate you.
All right, see it.
Appreciate it.
There you
Kory.
go. Hey, what's going on there? It's Jeff Iafrate. Appreciate you for finishing the video. You can check out one of the videos here suggested, or show support by commenting, liking, and subscribing. And buy your merchandise, officialctsports.com.